Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Jerry.
And Linda.
We're the Village's Newcomers. As you know, we bring you topics of interest to people that are thinking about moving to the Villages or even Florida for that matter. And today's topic is, are these homes really as close as they look when you look at them online? So we're going to try to give you our impression of neighbors, distance between the homes, etc. Before we get rolling, though, I want to thank Art Stevens for making these shirts for us. Art and Sue have a printing company, and they generously sent these to us. We love them. Thank you guys very much. Gizmo loves them too, don't you? Now today, I traveled around the neighborhood, and I took some examples on video of various situations. Our background, we come from Indiana.
Right.
Did we live on a postage stamp?
No. Almost an acre?
We had an acre lot on the home that we lived in. But more than that, we had a farm in the country. We did not live there, but it was ours for recreational purposes, and it was 85 acres. Neither at our house nor the farm did we have a neighbor close enough to see their house. It was a nice private situation. Here's a small montage of yards and borders that will give you a better look than all of our talking will at the situation of homes and between the homes here in our section of the Villages. As you look down between homes in the Villages, this is a very typical scene. That property line will go right down the middle between these two houses. Now the home on the left has bushes and an edged landscape area which cuts down the volume of their yard. So they typically have about 3 or 4 feet max of grass. This yard would have more over here, but not much. Very typical on at least one side of your home. Other homes throughout the Villages, similar. Maybe 6 feet of grass to the property line on the sides of the homes. On the other side, you can see the grass cut line right through here. That's a property line. So this home on the right has very little yard here. As we walk back this way, it opens up somewhat, so there is more yard here. And that's typical of homes that have a golf cart garage on the edge. Same situation. Here you'll have about 5 or 6 feet. Here, 5 or 6 feet. So not much distance between the homes. And this one, again, behind the golf cart garage, it opens up, just like you saw in the other home. And you've got a little more space. Coming to the backyard, this is an interior situation. None of these homes back up to a preserve. So you can see there may be a little more room here. You can see that. And if you look down the property line, which I'm standing on the property line, you got a little more room in the back, maybe 15 feet this way from the lanai, and from the back of that pool, a similar amount, maybe 12 or 15 feet. So that's it, very typical. The homes I've shown you have been interior homes. That one backs up to a courtyard wall, you can see in the distance there. Here's a back view. You've heard us talking about kissing lanais. Get a little more yard in the back than you do on the sides. There's another side with another courtyard wall. Side yards. Now our yard has about 5,000 square feet. In comparison, our home back in Indiana was almost 43,000 square feet of yard. Corner lots generally a little bit bigger. Some people love corner lots. They cost a little bit extra. Your interior lots are going to be your cheaper lots. The developers put these homes so close together. Now they have to be apart a certain amount to allow grass cutters, to allow for your air conditioning. Villas have very private yards, but still very small yards. There are a few neighborhoods. One that comes to mind is Bridgeport, where the homes are bigger with larger side yards, larger front yards and backyards, more mature trees. That's up near Sumter. I'm sure there are other neighborhoods like that, but not too many here where we live between 466A and Highway 44. And certainly there aren't many like that, if any, down in the Southern Oaks area that we have seen.
Right. There are some advantages of living close together. Let's say I'm cooking and I run out of sugar or flour. I can run across the street to Linda's house or Terry's house and say, hey, and they're very comfortable with doing that for us. The first week here, we didn't have toilet paper, and our neighbors next door brought us a whole big 12-pack. So that was awesome.
Double ply. Thanks, Bruce. Also, if you're here, your yard is small. It's going to be easy to maintain if you choose to maintain it. We don't.
Another pro about living close together is you kind of know when your neighbors are ill or someone's sick. You're able to go take food right away to somebody's house, and you don't have to get in a car and go take it. You just walk across the street or in your golf cart. We're close enough to be able to share meals, which is really nice.
Well, not only meals, one of our neighbors came down last week and wanted to borrow a nail gun. And I had one, and I wanted to borrow a dolly, and I was able to do that. So being close to your neighbors definitely is a benefit when you can work together and share things.
Yes, and when I was sick last year, I had a couple neighbors come and sit with me or and visit. So that was really, really nice. There are times when we want to go shopping together. We want to say, hey, let's go to the grocery, or let's go head down to the square. So that's really kind of fun together. You just impromptu get-togethers.
Not me and her. She's talking about with our neighbors.
Right. With our friends. So.
She frequently gets people to contact her, say, hey, do you want to ride over to Mount Dora and shop, or let's go up to the Hobby Lobby? Or
right. Yes, we did that. That was a lot of fun.
Much more convenient when you live close together than it was where we lived in Indiana. I want to go fishing, same thing. A neighbor wants to go fishing, they'll knock on the door, say, hey, you interested? You want to go? Yeah, either yes or no, but you have opportunity.
Also, I think it was really awesome that when we go on a vacation and we forgot to stop or mail our newspaper, our neighbors would pick up the newspaper to make sure no one will know that you're gone. So they pick up the newspaper or any packages that are left by UPS or FedEx, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And you can walk to a lot of the functions that you go to. Card parties, neighbors will have get-togethers during times with big ball games or whatever. I know it's handy for Linda. If she drinks too much, she doesn't have to drive home. She can just walk.
Drink. In our neighborhood, we have golf groups, and it's nice to be able to share rides and share golf cart rides. Right now, we're not doing that because of social distancing, but when we get back together, we'll be sharing golf cart rides.
Probably the biggest and best thing about living close to your neighbors is we can watch out for each other, where it would be for a burglary or something like that. But we have an example of how neighbors work together, and really an awesome story. But one of my buddies, Tom, down the street here, was actually laying in bed and heard the cries of a neighbor who had fallen and was inside their lanai and on the floor and in pain, and he was able to go over and help her. Now that shows you how close these houses are, but it was still a great thing. So those are pros.
Right.
There are definitely some cons to having your neighbors so close. So we're going to go over some of those with you. We made a little list just so we don't forget, but I'll say it right off that one of the cons for me, and like you heard the listener a few videos ago, was the neighbor smoked. If your neighbor smoked, a pipe, a cigar, cigarettes, that would be a turnoff. It has not been an issue for us whatsoever, but it could be for somebody.
Yeah. We're also, I can't think of the word. Cognizant, is that the word?
I don't know. Let's see where you go with it.
Of the noise you make. I'm constantly trying to be quiet sometimes so that I don't open the garage door too late at night, or you don't want to make any noise that's going to disturb the neighbors. Like you're late sleep, you go to bed late at night, and you don't want to make too much noise. So,
Linda.
I'm talking about house.
Here, eat that.
Okay, you got me laughing. But you just want to be more
Let
quiet.
me take over on this.
Okay.
Linda is very, very conscientious about the neighbors and about the situation.
I'm very thoughtful, right?
She won't let me turn on the garage lights after 9 o'clock at night in my own garage, because it might go through the window and our neighbor might be in their bedroom and it might wake them up.
All right.
So I can forget about my air compressor or my bandsaw or any of that stuff because we live so close. You do have to be conscientious of when you use your tools, which back home, come on.
We were in our shop at midnight before
Come
back
on.
home. If you're to have a dog, you're conscious of that. You don't want it to bark, or other dogs are barking. That's a problem.
Another thing about being so close, everybody likes music. Might be a different kind of music, but you want to play it sometime in your home. If you're on your lanai, screen porch, or you have your doors open with the screens or the windows, and you're blasting out, for me, some bluegrass. I'm not a big fan of bluegrass. That would make me mad if I was a neighbor. Now, if you were blasting out the Beatles or something like that, it wouldn't bother me, but still, you're violating my sound space.
Yeah.
And that could definitely happen here. We're lucky again in that regard where we live, but I can see where it would happen to some people.
Yeah. Driveways may be really close to someone's bedroom, so you have to think about that too. And if you have a motorcycle, hopefully you're not getting up and riding your motorcycle very early.
That's on my list.
Oh,
That's on my list.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I got that on my list.
Don't take it off. I just said it.
She gets a little
Here.
YouTube stardom and she starts just taking it
I'm
over.
taking over now.
What are you doing?
Giving you something on my list.
I know, it's okay. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, go
I want to
ahead.
talk about that. A big drawback for Linda is the fact that when you go outside, you have to be fully clothed. Here, you don't want to go out and shock your neighbors.
Yes.
Um,
What? There are days I just don't want to wear clothes.
Back in Indiana, we were told we had a fenced property, we had big trees, we had privacy. I got to be honest with you, there were times when you might have to, go out, take a leak in the yard. But
Not me.
guys or workmen or whatever, but you don't do that down here. So
This is
if you're
good.
used to that,
X-rated.
start getting acclimated to the fact that you're going to have to be a little more modest down here than you were back home when you had unlimited privacy.
Right. Well, I would like to go out and get the newspaper in my nightgown or my robe, and I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's really what we're talking
I
about.
just have to get dressed to get my newspaper.
And like she said, some people have motorcycles, maybe a Honda, maybe a Harley. They can be noisy. But luckily, our neighbors here in this neighborhood that have motorcycles are very considerate when it comes to that. But if you had somebody that wasn't, that could be a problem.
Well, here's a silly con. Sometimes people cook out dinner and, oh man, the smell on the grill is amazing, and then you're not invited.
That is the thing, because you'll play cards. She plays cards. And you get used to these ladies and you like them, and they're everybody does it. And when you see 5 or 6 cars parked in front of a house, I hear her say, "Oh, somebody's laying cards."
somebody's having a party and
Somebody's
it
having a
didn't
party.
get me. Invite me.
But that's not a con. We're just
No.
kidding about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Another little one maybe would be that you could be the best landscaper in the world. Your home could be so nice, and your grass, like ours, doesn't our grass look nice? It looks great. But where your neighbor's property touches, if he doesn't do as good a job, that's going to reflect on your property.
Yeah.
So your neighbor and his landscaping is going to be a factor too. So you can see there are pros and cons. You have to decide, for yourself, do the pros outweigh the cons? For us, we think that their houses here are real close together.
Mm-hmm. But it takes consideration to live with each other, and we work things out. And so far, so good.
Yeah, we're happy. We're totally happy with the move. And you hear my clock? You may not believe this back home, but I am not the most patient person. And if I can do it, most everybody can. And I think I can do it. I mean, there have been a few moments when you think you're too close, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I think so too. We're learning patience. So until next time.
See you when you get here.